begins with James Creedon right now. Hello,
Good
James.
evening, Laura.
Good to see you. And
Likewise.
I just mentioned Angela Merkel going off at the NSA in the German Parliament today over those leaks and about her mobile phone allegedly being tapped and all the rest of it. But the man behind it all, Edward Snowden, could be getting the Nobel Peace Prize.
That's right. In Oslo, they think he's fantastic. Well, at least 2 MPs do in any case. Let's take a look at this headline. Snowden nominated for Nobel Peace Prize. Now, the thing is, Laura, anybody, any public official, government official, can nominate a person to be a Nobel Peace Prize laureate. And there are tens, if not hundreds, of nominees every year.
Right, doesn't mean he's going to make the shortlist, does
Absolutely not. But these 2 Norwegian politicians who actually issued a statement on this said, look, okay, he might have made security interests of several nations, less safe in the shorter term, but in the longer term, this has led to more openness and etc. etc.
Right then.
Let's take a look at what 1 or 2 tweets have said about it, because it has missed nobody's attention that Barack Obama won it just a few years back.
Yeah.
Irony of the day, says Joseph Robino. Snowden's Nobel Peace Prize nomination is less than 5 years after Obama's. And somebody else said, well, actually, Snowden nominated for Peace Prize, which is kind of funny because one Nobel winner wants him in prison.
It would be very funny, wouldn't it?
The irony continues because today, on the same day that story came out about Snowden being a nominee, another nominee, but this time it is a Barack Obama appointee, the new head of the NSA by the name of James R. Clapper, spoke before a Senate panel saying that delivering a blistering criticism of Snowden, saying he has to hand back NSA documents, describing him as a hypocrite who has severely harmed national security. So I think if he were to sit down with those 2 Norwegian MPs, they would have an awful lot of things to disagree about.
It depends how mischievous those Norwegians are feeling, isn't it? I think they should go for it. Now, let's move on to the new Pope.
Right.
Quite new, isn't he? Everybody loves the new Pope. He's all
Yes.
about living simply, a real return to Christian values.
The
None of
Iron
that
Cross,
bling
all of
and
that.
golden balls
None of
and all the
that.
rest
None
of
of
it.
that. None of the bling, please.
It's also a bit trendy because he's made it onto the front cover of Rolling Stone magazine.
Which is a first, let it be said here. There has never before been a Pope on the front of Rolling Stone. No one has been cool enough. And there he is on the front of this Friday's Rolling Stone. It'll be out later. And do you see what they have below Pope Francis? I'm not sure if we can read it there. The times they are a-changin', Laura.
The old Bob Dylan
The old
lyrics.
Bob Dylan lyric. So he's clearly got a certain cachet of cool appearing on the front page alongside Sting and Paul Simon, also being spoken of there. Now, the Vatican communications people are obviously very smart and really trying to promote all of these positive sort of depictions of their man in the Vatican. And they've even gone out and tweeted an image of the Pope that was found tattooed onto a wall somewhere in Rome. So that is, there he is, depicted as a superhero that time. Not the first time he's been making the front page of magazines. There he was on the front page of Time towards the end of last year when he was not nominated but named their Person of the Year.
A groovy Pope, working that white cape.
Absolutely.
Like a good one. Doing good works as well. Now, you've told us about Nicolas Sarkozy and his possible comeback.
Yes.
The former French president. Everybody, not a very well-kept secret. He might try and run again. Might we just see a rerun of 2007 in 2016, i.e. Sarkozy versus Ségolène Royal? Could this really happen, James?
Maybe, if Francois Hollande continues to plummet in the polls and if his private life continues to be so complicated that his ex will actually unseat him as the nominee. But she has spoken out, well, not publicly, but the Canard Enchaîné, which is a weekly satirical newspaper that often has political scoops, says that she's ready to play a role if there was ever a sort of,
But she's always
a
been
reshuffle.
ready to play a role,
She's
hasn't she?
always been ready to play a role. But the thing is, of course, Valerie Trierweiler famously tried to keep her aside. Now, remember...
Successfully tried to keep her
Absolutely,
aside.
because when there were local elections, or rather parliamentary elections, shortly after the presidential election in July of 2012, Trierweiler famously tweeted her support for Ségolène Royal's opponent. Ségolène Royal
Didn't go
at the
down
time...
very well at all.
Absolutely not. Ségolène Royal at the time wanted to be elected MP for La Rochelle. If that had been successful, she would have become president of the National Assembly, which would have been the 4th most senior job in the French Republic, which would have meant regular meetings with François Hollande. In any case, it looks like she is hoping to come back, perhaps as a minister, perhaps even as prime minister, although that is unlikely, in a cabinet
But you don't
reshuffle.
think she's going to go for the top job herself?
Well, who knows?
It would be fun, wouldn't it? It'd be like a time warp.
It'd be like Bill and Hill, kind of constantly just, switching
Just interchanging.
around.
It
Tag
would be
teams.
interesting. Now, you rarely talk about the Prime Minister of Turkey in your Media Watch segment, but today you are going to tell us something about Recep Tayyip Erdogan.
That's right.
Why has he made it into
All right. Well,
the
this
buzz
happened
today?
this happened on Sunday, but it's only come to the attention of the French media and I suppose the Anglo media now. Let's roll these pictures. Do you know what he did on Sunday? Because the city of
That's
Izmir.
not him. I can tell you that.
Oh
for nothing.
gosh, that's somebody else. That is
That's not Recep
Tupac.
Tayyip. There we are.
Tupac,
That's
and there's
Celine
Celine Dion with Elvis.
Oh, there he is.
There he is. Because the point being, these are all holograms, right?
Oh.
Tupac did it, Elvis did it along with Celine Dion. So now Erdogan, in order to kind of shorten that
But
distance...
Tupac Shakur is no longer with us, and Erdogan and Celine Dion very much are. Hopefully.
He's clearly being inspired by her Las Vegas show and saying, you know what, I'm going to introduce holograms of myself
spooky.
into politics in Turkey. So there he was in the city of Izmir, 10 feet tall, adding a few feet to his actual height.
It's a little bit of an inflated ego there.
A little bit of an inflated ego. And it's not the first time it's been done in politics. In India, in the state of Gujarat, a politician by the name of Narendra Modi broadcast himself in 26 different holograms simultaneously across the state. So there you go. It's a
It'd be
new
quite
way
scary,
of
isn't it?
getting
Maybe
yourself out
Francois
there.
Hollande should get into that. Maybe that could help his popularity.
Who knows?
People started seeing him about more.
The more the merrier.
In Parisian cafes and stuff. All right. Okay. Thank you very much, James
Thanks,
Creedon
Laura.
with Media Watch. Now it's time for our focus report, and we're asking just how much